Today I'm going to talk about extracting chemicals secreted from sorghum root hair. So plants obviously use their roots as conduit for water and nutrient. Everybody would know that. But over time, scientists have figured out that roots do way more than that. So one of the things they can do is to secrete chemicals to their environment so that they can modify and adjust the environment to their liking. Most of the time, you can't see those chemicals because it's invisible to human eyes. But there are some exceptions. And the reason we use sorghum in this experiment is that they are one of those exceptions. This experiment is super fun because you can actually see what's coming out of the root without using anything other than low-grade microscope or even magnifying glass. So it is suitable for school environment, and in the end they get to see what's coming out of the root. So I hope you enjoy this experiment, and I hope you can repeat this in the classrooms. So these are the items you're going to need. It's quite a number, but as you can notice, probably most of them are household items that doesn't really require any specific laboratory equipment. That's another reason that this is suited for school projects and such. First, obviously, you will need sorghum seeds that are in this vial over here, and glass vials that contains the sorghum seeds. You need a specific filter paper. It's not just any paper. The point is that it has to be durable so that root cannot grow into this paper. If they do, it's going to be quite a mess when it's time to extract the root. So you need to use a specific type of paper. You need a plastic tube or a number of tubes that's as many as the cultivars of sorghum you're testing. And you need these plastic panels. The only function of these panels are to hold the sorghum seeds when it's cultured, so it doesn't have to be anything specific. I believe we got these panels from Home Depot and just cut to the size by ourselves. You need binder clips and a plastic folder hanger. It is important that it's plastic because the paper one will just dissolve in water. And then you need commercial bleach. You need distilled water. This powder over here is calcium sulfate. That is the one chemical that's used in a solution to culture the sorghum seeds. You need rubbing alcohol. 70% or 99% both work. And you need plastic file box. We prefer black or very dense colored box. Do not use a transparent one. For the reason that if it's transparent, there's going to be light inside it, and the algae will start growing. So you want something that shut off the light. So black works the best. If you don't have black, dark blue, anything that's opaque will work. You want aluminum foil. And last but not least, you need a forceps and scissors. So this is a timeline. In total, you will need about 3 days of hands-on time on a course of about a week. On the first day, you will need to sterilize the seeds surface because otherwise your endoculture is going to be covered by fungi. This process takes about an hour. Next day, you set up a culture. By the way, this can be day 3 depending on your schedule. I wouldn't wait more than 2 days, but day 2 is preferable. What you do on day 2 is to set up the culture so that the sorghum root can grow downwards in between the filter papers. And this process will also take about an hour. And then you're going to have to wait until the plant grows. And between day 5 to 7 is a good time to harvest. On that day, this is the main day, you will observe and extract the root secreted chemicals. And both observation and extraction will probably take about 2 hours. Depending on your schedule, you can do this in between day 5 and 7. So there's a little bit of flexibility here. On day 1, you sterilize the surface of the seed. The goal of this step is to get rid of microorganisms that live on the seed's surface. You do this by gently shaking the seeds in a mixture of bleach, water, and some soap. To avoid reintroducing microorganisms, you should always use bottled distilled water rather than tap water to wash the seeds. And at the end, you will soak the seeds in distilled water overnight to 2 days to let them absorb water. This is a picture of sorghum seeds. Some are darker color than others, but they nicely fit in these vials, and this is the penny for comparison. So they are quite small. So now let us see how the experiment works. On day 2, you set up the culture using the seeds that you have processed on day 1. Basically, you sandwich the imbibed seeds with sheets of durable filter papers, and once the sandwich is set, you put them in between the 2 sheets of plastic panels and insert the stack into the plastic file folder. The file folder then hangs in a filing box with calcium sulfate solution at the bottom. What happens is that the bottom of the paper will soak in the calcium sulfate solution, which keeps the seedlings moist for the rest of the experiment. Once everything is set up, cover the filing box with foil to keep the plants in the dark for the next 3 days. Once the foil is removed, move the filing box close to a window with some natural light so that plants can get some amount of light. Don't worry if you don't have that much of a light window. Just a little bit of ambient light is fine, and in the worst case scenario, you can even keep them covered for the whole course of the experiment, but some light is beneficial for the plant. So if you can, please remove the foil at 3 days. On day 7, you observe the sorghum root and also extract the chemicals. First, I really recommend you observe the roots under the microscope. That's if you have any. If not, magnifying glass would work somewhat as well, but really microscope is the better option. And with that, you can visualize the secretion from the sorghum root. If the experiment has worked, you will see oily brown droplets on the root here, which is quite cool. Next, because this compound is oily, we use alcohol to dissolve these drops. And once the extraction is done, you will see that the color of the ethanol changes because it now dissolves the droplets from the sorghum root. And you should also measure the weight of the root tissue for the record, because that number is going to be later used to check if you used a similar amount of root tissues in different cultivars.